first time the Pan-African University Institute for Basic Science is organizing a debate with external judges. So the reason we brought external judges is to avoid the complication of people accusing bias in the result of their presentation. So we brought individuals from all around Africa. So we have judges from all around Africa. We have judges from Kenya, we have judges from Liberia, we have judges from Botswana, so that nobody should feel like this is a departmental thing or it's something that is like attacking personality. So we are really happy that we have gone this far to invite them, and they have left their activities to join us today. So please put your hands together for them. Thank you guys very much for joining us today. Thank you guys very much. So ladies and gentlemen, please may we welcome Mr. Matthew Vogbebe, the student president of the Pan-African Student Association. You're welcome, sir.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Shukran. My name is Mathieu Vogbebe. I'm from Chad, so I'm the student representative. So as part of our AYM, which is African Youth Month, we have several activities, and among them we have the session that we are going to proceed with today, which is the debate session followed by panel discussion. So I would like to greet especially our debaters and our judges and welcome everyone to this debate session. Thank you for coming, and we're really happy to see every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for that wonderful and exciting speech. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. On our next presenter, which is the event coordinator, the one who has been behind the activity of the debate and the panel discussion. She has really been hardworking. It's not been easy. She has really proven that women empowerment has done more to women in Africa than we have seen. And we are going to experience that vibrant energy. I think she is responsible for inviting the external judges to eliminate the concept of bias. She is wonderful. She's perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, may we welcome, I won't say her name, she's going to introduce herself. Please, ladies and gentlemen, clap for
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Josephine Sapo-Sohotsi. I am from Botswana. I'm currently pursuing a PhD in civil engineering, specializing in environmental. So, yeah, I was given this task of coordinating the debate and panel discussion. It hasn't been an easy journey, but we worked as a team. This proved to me that indeed cultural diversity is something that can be embraced. From where I'm from, I speak very loud, fast, and aggressively at times. My brother is here from Botswana, he can attest to that. And you can confuse that for somebody being argumentative, but it's just that we have passion over what we'll be doing. But then because I was working with a team, we managed to understand each other and we worked really well, despite some hiccups here and there. But we realized that we are brothers and sisters from the same continent that we would like to bring change to, and that is Africa. We are in the month of African youth, going by the theme from aspiration to action, African youth as a tool of reparative justice and sustainable development. This theme emphasizes the shift from merely envisioning a better future to actively creating one. Thus, you will be seeing debaters who will be working on their topics for and against in order to convince us whether we do believe this or we find ways of making it happen and not just it being the talk of Africa. Then later on as well, we'll look into the panel discussion where the motion will be Empowered Youth, Transformed Africa, turning education, skills, and innovation into justice-driven, sustainable action. This will focus on the role of young people in shaping Africa's future through practical, equitable, and sustainable contributions. Now, during the panel discussion, or should I start with the debate session first, they will be following the parliamentary style of debate. So we are looking forward to them sharing with us practical things that are happening right now, not imaginary. They should bring forth evidence. So when we move to the panel discussion later on, they will also be presenting to us statistics, evidence of what they're talking about. And the panel discussion will be a bit different from last year. The audience will be allowed to interject, to ask questions in between the presentations of the panelists. So in summary, I wish all the debaters well, and I hope you do convince us, or you confuse us, or you make us neutral to the topic, whichever way, we'll be here listening. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank my team. We worked under pressure, but at the end of the day, we produced the results that we believe are to the best of what we could manage at the time. And I give back the floor to the MCs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Josephine, for that overview. We are going to proceed to the actual debate, but then before we begin, we want to welcome those who are just joining us. Welcome to the Pan-African University. And when we talk about Pan-African University, we are uniting Africa in diversity. If you check in this hall, you're going to find citizens from multiple African countries, and we are united today as one to talk about Africa. So now we're going to move to our judges. As Lambda said earlier, we've had our judges come from far and wide to evaluate what the PAUSTI students are working on today. So we're going to begin introducing our judges. We're going to begin with Pauline Wali from Liberia, a nurse by profession. Please, can we put our hands together for her?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pauline Wali Koti. I am a Liberian, a wife, and a mother of 3. I'm a nurse by profession, specialized midwife. I'm here for attachment for higher diploma in nephrology nursing from the Kenyatta University. So I'm happy to be here with you and serving as a judge. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You're welcome to Powell this morning. We're going to move to Mr. Abraham Masole, who is a student at KU studying educational psychology.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I guess it's about to be afternoon. Yes. My name is, as stated, Abraham Masole. I'm from Botswana, a husband and a father of 3 beautiful girls. My wife is the 4th one. I study Masters in Educational Psychology, currently with Kenyatta University. And back home, I work as a principal education officer. I do curriculum advisory and school inspections. I have acquired my Masters in Educational Leadership and Management, that is in 2019. Then I acquired my Commonwealth Executive Masters in Public Admin. That is 2024. Currently, I'm also doing my PhD with Serenus University in the United States. So I'm battling with 2 theses, but I'm towards the end. I'm proud to be with you today. Enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abraham. We are going to move to Ms. Joyce Kutu, who is a master's student in ASL and environmental engineering.
Good morning, everyone. As has been introduced, I'm Joyce Kuhakuto, a student here. But what some may not know is that I'm a mother, a wife, mother of 2, and I also have 7 years of experience in road construction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mom. And for our final member of jury, we welcome Mr. Edwin Borongo, who is a member of JQuat Enterprise Center.
Hello everyone, my name is Edwin Borongo Nyabuto. I'm a virtual assistant by profession and currently pursuing data analytics and finance engineering. I work at JQuat Enterprise and I'm very grateful to have a cheerful session. Thank you.
Now we go to the main part of our activity, the debate. So now we are officially in a debate session, and the motion for the debate of today is the theme of the African Youth Month, which is African Youth as a true catalyst for reparative justice. The theme for 2025 African Youth Month states that from aspiration to action, with African youth as a catalyst for reparative justice and sustainable development. We have those who are against the motion, and we have those who are for the motion. So those who are for the motion will be talking of how are young Africans driving systemic change towards equity and sustainability. And those who are against the motion will be talking about are African youth being romanticized as change agents without adequate structural power. So before we dive into the debate proper, we want the lead judge to give us the criteria for evaluation so that our debaters can be able to know how they will be evaluated. Thank you.
I will just give a snapshot, a summary, so that we don't confuse you guys. But at the end of the session, before we announce the scores, that is when maybe we will drive a bit deeper so that you do your assessment as you are listening to the results. We will be looking at 8 critical points as we are presenting. Number 1 being the knowledge of the topic, whether you have done your research very, very well. Then the clarity of points, how logical are your presentations. Thirdly, we look at the level of your conviction, how much you agree with your side. Then we look at the use of evidence, of course. These are masters and PhD students who will be opening our ears to hear those citations, scholarly. Then the composure, of course, that will speak to your body language and your presentation, your overall presentation. Number 6, we look at confidence and voice control, your toning and the speed that you are communicating. You are not racing against time. Then number 7, we look at the use of your vocabulary and language, academic language, clean. And then lastly, how much you are aware of your timekeeping. Yeah, we have a slight adjustment with the grace period. You know, we are very understanding judges. I thank you very much with that.
So we are going to be calling on the first presenter. Are you guys ready for the event? Please put your hands together as we welcome the first presenter for the motion.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable speakers and distinguished judges, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Isra Muhammad Samin from Egypt. I'm Master MSc Molecular Biology and Biotechnology. And this house believes that Africa's youth are the catalyst, the true catalyst of the liberative justice from aspiration to action for sustainable future. Today, me and my team, we are standing and support this motion because we all believe that Africa's youth are not only a participant in the struggle for the justice, but they are the true catalysts, and they are the real motion and the essential force to make our historic continent from aspiration into action. Reparative justice is just about to repair what's already broken. So it's therefore it's essential for it's not a theory. It's a real need to our continent to have this. Our points are: number one, youth as drivers for social and political transformation. Number two, climate justice and environmental reparations. Number three, technological empowerment and narrative reclamation. Number four, economic liberation through innovation. Number five, Pan-African identity and collective mobilization. African youth are making real change happen. They are becoming becoming strong leaders to fight for justice. They are not only speak; they also act using social media and technology and community groups. They are asked for fairness, and they challenge the system that left by colonists. So we have movements like NSORS in Nigeria and this flag in Zimbabwe. Those youth they use the social media to demand for the justice and for the government accountability. And there is revolutions like in Tunisia in 2011 and in Sudan. Those revolutions by youth, they demanding for justice and for democracy. There is another movement in Egypt, HERSMAP. This movement, it's fight against the gender-based injustice. Those movements made by youth, show us how can youth pressure the governments and the system to improve itself. Their message is powerful and clear. We deserve better, and we will help to build a just and fair future. Thank you.
Speaker one, we are going to proceed to the second speaker, to the first speaker rather, against the motion. You're welcome, Mr. Crosspost.
Thank you. My name is Crosspost Takura Bujinga from Zimbabwe, and I'm the leader of the opposition. So thank you, Madam Prime Minister, for your opening statement. This is a very difficult topic for us, because we also strongly believe that African youth rather, are agents for change in this reparative agenda. However, we will prove beyond reasonable doubt that this reparative agenda is nothing but secondary. We will prove to you, with my team, beyond reasonable doubt that youths are being taken for a ride on this reparative agenda, and the results of it are complicated and have minimum and will do more harm than good in our lovely Africa. So for me to explain, I'm just saying that the youth should focus more of their energies on the real matters, the real issues in Africa, not to waste time on social media things. Bones, we want to focus on the meat of the matter, not on the bones as Madam Prime Minister was talking about. So to explain, allow me to use this thinking tool, which represents our African society. The red color is the governance, the politics. The green color at the top is our land issues, the agriculture. Then down to the blue is the education. The yellow is the economics, the gold, the everything to do with the economics. Then double emphasis on the leadership again, double emphasis on the land issues again. Then we talk about the entertainment and the media. So dividing everything up is the black and white colors that you see. The white color is the spirituality and the black is the culture and traditions of our Africa. So currently our Africa is in instability with the noise that you hear. All of these things are not in alignment. And we are saying the primary things that the youth should focus on is to bring some sort of stability in our Africa, to bring some stability in our governance. So I'll give you an examples, multiple examples. We start in South Africa, 23,000 people dead in 2023 alone. 23,000. Black on black deaths, people killing each other. Why? No education. The education is poor. Then we go back up in the Congo. Over 6 million people have died in the ongoing civil war in Congo. Why? It's because of the minerals and the misunderstanding in the politics. We go back up, further up in the Sudan. 200,000 people have died since 2023. Why? It's because of the land issues and the politics and the poor governance. We go in Nigeria. Over thousands of children have been taken captive against their own will. Why? It's because of religious misunderstandings, the black and white that I was talking about, the cultural misunderstandings. So what am I saying? I'm saying that even though if we are to assume that we get some of this money in reparations, say we're given money, considering the instability in Africa, this money will be used for more harm than good. So in conclusion, we do believe in the capacity of the youth. We do believe that the youth are very powerful agents, but only if the agenda, only if the cause is positive. We do believe that this reparative agenda is embedded in victimhood, a victim mentality. Take for example Japan. They were bombed in 1945. 2 bombs in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Terrible, terrible atrocity. It was an evil deed that occurred in Japan. But Japan never reacted as victims. Japan took responsibility of their negative situation and started to rebuild the politics, started to rebuild the education, started to rebuild their governance. Right now, Japan is a big-time player, but we have our own Africa where we want to react for something that happened almost 500 years ago. So I'm saying, let us not be dragged into this victimhood mentality. Let us take responsibility for the matters at hand. Let us take responsibility for the 7 influences of power that I explained to you all. And let us work on these things. Then only if we manage to bring stability in Africa, then we'll start to talk about these secondary reparative issues. I thank you.
We're going to move to the second speaker for the team for the motion, Mr. Emmanuel. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, honorable speaker. I thank you very much for giving me this platform to echo my voice. Okay, first of all, I would like to thank my opponent bringing up some concrete points that I'll be elaborating more. For instance, when I was in primary school, junior high school, we did have a marching session, and what you say is "Arise, Ghana youth." So, for what my opponent said, he said the youth has to focus much on real issues and not on social media. Noise caused by youth are too much, but he believes that youth are true catalysts, if I'm not wrong, but there is more room for improvement. Thank you very much, my opponent. Thank you for bringing up such point. Okay, Africa contributes 4% of global carbon emission, but yet still, you are the one who suffers most. For example, flood, drought, famine, and environmental destruction. Okay. Not long ago, most of the youth in Ghana brought a coalition called Stop Galamsey Now. In Ghana, when you say Galamsey, it's a term called illegal mining. So the youth echo their voice to pressure the government to stop the illegal miners, to stop polluting the water bodies. And also, you have a young journalist in Ghana called Anas Aremiyao, have exposed environmental corruption connected to mining. And so let's talk about the Kenyan youth. The Kenyan youth continue to do the work of Wangari Maathai, if everybody knows her, in the action of tree planting initiatives. So to achieve reparative justice, the youth, African youth are demanding that our water bodies need to be protected and hold the polluters accountable. Now, let's move on to technological empowerment and narrative reclamation. My very own Ghanaian brother called Wedemaya has been touring all the places of Africa, sharing the lives of great people and also what the youth are also doing. It's showcasing the rich culture of Africa and highlighting African success through its storytelling. So let's move on to music. When we come to Afrobeat, you have the young Nigerians who sing, for instance, you have the one called Ozeba Ozeba, which I'm nicknamed Ozeba because of how rich the song is. And also, if everybody knows, Fuse Odiji is a Ghanaian, and in his music, he brought a lot about how rich African is, and also stating or telling people we have 54 countries, and also elaborating more about our culture. Thank you very much, and I hope my opponents have learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. To call upon our next speaker.
I want to say, don't disappoint me, my dear colleague. Yeah. You just talk, but it doesn't make sense what you said right now. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria Vasileso. I'm from Guinea Conakry, and I'm doing masters in data science. Dear colleague, we all know the population of Africa is 1.55 billion, and 60% of the population is young. You know that. And Africa is the second continent for the most populated continent in the world. But unfortunately, Africa is the least developed one. And you know that, we all know that. Do you want to add another thing? Another burden? No. I think it's not good to talk about reparative justice. One day my grandmother told me, An empty bag cannot stand upright, and even cannot worship God either. So we don't talk about reparative justice. We are still struggling. We are hungry, and there is no peace. There is a political instability in the world. Look at in Sudan. Most people they are crying. In Mali, even in Mali, in my country, every day there is a young, they kill people. You talk about reparative justice, even African people themselves are not united. Do you talk about reparative justice and you know it's Europe who colonized us and we are still with them? No. Please think about that. You have to think about that. Don't disappoint me, my colleagues. I hope in the end of this debate, we're gonna join with us. We know, I know, we don't talk about reparative justice, and you know you are suffering. You need to eat. You need peace. Thank you. Okay. What I'm saying, we don't talk about reparative justice. We need, before talking about that, we need peace. We need to eat. We need education. We need development. Please think about that. Use your mind to think about that. We are the second continent for the population, but we are in the last for the development. It doesn't make sense. We have to focus on it instead of focusing on in the past. It's not good. Today we have to build our future. It's not to return back to talk about for the reparative justice. Today we see most young after finish their studies here at PAUSTI, they go to Europe and even America, even in China, to improve their knowledge. Why? Is it because it's African African need education, more education. They don't need reparative justice. We have to know that, please, dear colleague. Don't waste your time here, please. We have to join us, please. Thank you.
We're going to call on the next speaker. Mr. Fwembe, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. Members of the jury, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I will be supporting the motion, youth as drivers of social and political transformation, not merely dreamers, but doers. So, just as my colleague was talking, she said no need for reparation. If you are saying no need for reparation, then you say no need for the court system. There should not be courts. So if I can do something now and go home, there will be no justice, you just have to live with that. There will be no court cases, and life will be unfair, which is very wrong. We all know that we have a series of wars, like First World War, Second World War, and we all know the perpetrators. You cannot, like my other opposition was saying, they look at the case of Japan, they have forgotten about what happened and they have moved on, that they have developed. Japan was the aggressor. It's different. We are the victim. During the war, after the war, Germany have to pay reparation to some countries like France and the other neighboring countries which they invaded. We all know that is proven fact. Okay, now on the economic part, Africa has been cut out of the world when it comes to entrepreneurial development. If you want to start a startup and you're looking for seed funding, just because you are black, it is 90% very difficult, like 90% difficulty for you to have funding as you compare with your counterpart who is white. So you cannot blame us, and we are trying. And we have done some progress, like on scientific innovation, like rigor Betitani from Cameroon, who created an on-chip technology for optical transformation that can send signal between airplane that are flying. It's a Cameroonian, an African. So we are doing our best to push science, and not only in the domain of science, also in fintech, whereby we have created services like mobile money transfer and M-Pesa. That is financial inclusion. So the mother on the street who is selling burger can relate with others, does not have to carry money, does not have to expose themselves for risks. So we are pushing inclusion, and you cannot just discard that. So also there's another point about Pan-African identity and collective mobilization. We all know that due to colonial oppression, Africa has been divided according to this old format, divide and conquer. But us Gen Z, we have come up to fight against that. Like you can see, Kenya were protesting against the unfair bill that was passed to oppress them. That movement also moved to Madagascar, which helped them liberate them from a dictator, an oppressor. And it's moving everywhere. We also have Ibrahim Touare from Burkina Faso, who had that dream. He believed in Africa, that Africa can be something. And he rose up and became a president. Look at Burkina Faso, everything is homegrown. The economy is working. There is this, as they say, when injustice becomes law, resistance becomes a duty. Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Azaria.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm Azaria Soke from Benin. Thank you, my colleagues. Thank you, judges and my team. I'm going to clear this point what my colleague said. Youth are proving in Africa musically, and they also prove that young are proving protecting Kenya, Burkina also. I'm going to ask for them if youth are proving musically, that is going to help us for the reparting justice. I think the answer is no, because the reparting justice needs institutional diplomats, institutional power, diplomats, the lawyers. Yeah. So if you are saying those youth are proving musically, after that, what is their gain? What is their gain? Is it the music put them in the president's office, or is it the music make them become now presidents or minister? I think the answer is no. So for the youth, we have to focus first how the youth, they should be on the diplomats and the final desires, the final decision, people who make the final decision of our each countries. So I'm going to, if in Africa, the youth occupy around 17% of the Africa is the youth. But in the parliament of the government, how many are there? How many are there? Less than 5% of them. So we have to focus on that before starting looking for reparting justice. Because looking for reparting justice is to repair all of those things that happened before. So let's focus how we should improve for the youth about finish with the jobless, finish with the sickness, have a good healthy. So we had to focus on that before to starting proving about the reparative justice. So that is my point. Also, I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk also about how many youth are very on the high level of our government. How many are there? So we should focus on that and repair that and help. If we got to do the reparative justice, is not to push the youth to prostate for the prostration, no, because you said in Kenya they are prostrating every day but at the end we are seeing the death, many death. Each moment they are processing the youth. We are counting no less than 2 deaths here in Kenya. So this thing is going to be very worse in the world if we are going to use this way. We cannot push youth to go directly for the reparative of justice. No, we have now to focus on how youth will be in a good way, healthy, employment, all of those things. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, audience. Thank you, panel, for giving me the opportunity to elaborate my view on the motion. My name is Asari Akunya Michael, MSc Mechanical Engineering student from Ghana. First of all, I would like to help my colleagues to understand the role of catalysts in chemical reaction. Catalysts play a major role when it comes to chemical reaction by speeding up the reaction. They do that by providing alternative pathway which is having a lower activation energy, thereby causing change without the catalyst being destroyed. When you come to the African populace, we have 3 categories of people. In terms of age, we have the children below the 18 years, those who are not eligible voters. We have those between the age of 18 and 35, the youthful exuberance. Then we have the elderly. So among these 3 categories, we all believe that the children, when it comes to reparative justice initiative, children are out because in the first place they are not even entitled to vote. So it is between these 2 categories, the youth and then the elderly. Now, my colleague from the other side made a statement by saying the youth are agents of transformation. They are the agents of change. We agree with them that the elderly are those occupying the higher positions. So, if they are doing things right up there, should there be change? If there is a reason for change, then it means something needs to be repaired. And that is where we come to reparative justice initiatives. Reparative justice doesn't deal with only legalities. It has various sectors. We have the social aspect, the economical aspect, we have the climatic and environmental sustainability aspect, then the cultural. When we talk of Africa, one thing that we take pride in is our cultural identity. And over the years, due to colonization, our identity, our African identity, have been misrepresented globally. And this is what the youth is trying to repair in the sector of cultural heritage, thereby utilizing technology and then entertainment industry through their music, talking of Afrobeat style and then piano, showcasing the true identity of Africa. When you come to the social aspect, they are utilizing the media as a powerful tool. And my brother from the other side made a statement by saying the youth is wasting time on social media instead of utilizing their energy. But then, using the social media to create global attention for change, is it a waste of time? No, I don't side with them. In terms of entrepreneurship skills, the youth are on top. They are trying to create alternative pathway to build our economy. And looking at M-Pesa initiative and then Flutterwave, they contribute billions of dollars to GDP growth of Africa. When it comes to climatic change and sustainability, we have the likes of Vanessa Nakati of Uganda, a well-known international climate change activist, doing the most. If you go to African Union, there is a unit called AYCA, the African Youth Climate Assembly, who is also contributing massively when it comes to climate change in negotiations at the high table. A statement was made from my colleague from the other side by saying they agree that the youth has the demographics. In terms of numbers, in terms of momentum, it is the youth. But then, when you go to the parliament, the policy-making platforms, they don't have the numbers up there. Imagine, as smaller as we are up there, yet still influencing change. How much more the number increases. And then reparative justice doesn't just start. It starts from somewhere and then ends somewhere. It's a process. So starting right is the goal for African youth. And don't think the leaders who are up there are willing to support if we keep silent. If we remain silent, they are setting policies that will benefit them. They are setting policies that will make them comfortable. So it is our responsibility as you to voice out, and then echo our voices through the modern day technology. Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting much time, myself and then my team, our team B, the proposition side, we do agree that African youths are not just passive inheritance of the future. No. Rather, African youth are active architects of today. It is not something that we are going to do. It has already been started. And so it is no more an aspiration, but then it's in action. Whilst we are dominating the social media platforms, whilst we are advocating for stability, whilst we are mobilizing the youth for change, it tells how strong and powerful the youth are. The youth has a behavior that is synonymous to the porcupine warrior. That says, if you kill 1,000 will come. That spirit tells how strong the youth are. We fear no intimidation. Yes, even in the midst of intimidation, we still fight to the end. And so, talking about structure, we are well structured, we are well organized, and we are united for one purpose. I want to make this point clear. Reparative justice is not just about legality. It talks about social, economic, it talks about reclaiming cultural heritage, and then redefining us. That is reparative justice. Repair what is broken. The youth are shaping the present for the future. I must state it clearly. And they are not just passive inheritance of the future. We indeed urge entire members, audience, even including my co-debaters from the other side, to agree and support the motion. Thank you.
We call upon our last speaker against the motion, Mr. Cedric. You're welcome to the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable speakers here, my fellow colleagues in the audience. Can you hear me? Yeah. The judges, can you confirm? Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So today's motion is very interesting, and I would like to clarify one thing with my colleagues from the other side. We are not against reparative justice. We are not against it. What we are trying to say is that, is it the time to do it now? There are so many things that we have to solve before we reach to that level. I wanted to clarify, we are not totally against it. If you are against it, you'll be against everything that happened, slavery and everything. So, if we proceed, if you go with this process of asking for the reparative justice, it will cause more harm, in my opinion, than it will cause more harm than what is causing now. I will explain my reason. I will start with an example. In 1993, in the US, there was a lady called Erin Brockovich. She went against a large corporation called PG&E. They were using water, chromium in water, so most people died with cancer. So she went against that company. It took her 3 years to get 133 million from the company. But how did she do it? First of all, the unity. She got all the plaintiffs, 600 of them. Some of them were not willing to go for the reparative justice. Some of them, like, the damage has already been done. Some of my children have died because of cancer and everything. But she pushed them. So when they became united, all the 600 of them signed a petition. That's when they got the court order. That's when the court did. So unity. Let's look at the current Africa. What is the unity? We have a very good example here. We are a Pan-African university. Am I right? We have, each country has someone who represents their own country, right? This is a good example. Let's start here at PAUSTI. We are the youth, aren't we? But let's look at the unity. When have we stood up together for one cause? Never. Let's take the laptop issue. How did it go? Let's talk about the insurance issue. How did it go? Did we stand together as one? You have the answer. Number two, let's talk about the fall of the Soviet Union. I'm looking at the time, just want to make sure. Let's look at the Soviet Union. The fall of the Soviet Union in 1991. What happened? They were united, so they became a threat to the West. The US saw it as a threat. They found a way to dismantle it in one way or another. After it has been dismantled, we can see the results, what happened. And now, the next point I would like to clarify is we, in Africa, there's a problem of fear to act. We don't want to act. Sometimes when we act, when we reach a certain point, we're like, no, maybe I should not mingle, let me just go back. And I'll give another example of that. The East African countries agreed that they're going to ban second-hand clothes. All the presidents agreed. When they reached home, the US called them that, no, if you do this, we'll sanction you. Only one country kept that promise. The others, they pulled back. Why? Let's think about that also. And now, in Africa, the current youth lacks leadership skills. Am I right or not? And I'll give an example. In football, we have what we call football academies. Footballers, they know. Lionel Messi, David Beckham, Saka, they've all gone through football academies. Do you know what happens there? They train them, they train them psychologically, mentally, physically, to go and play, to win. So Africa needs to have this kind of, now they have started African School of Governance. It should start from the primary level so that we can teach people, teach the future youth to be able to address the current issues. And there is also lack of responsibility in the current African youth. And we know it here. We can see it here. All of us have written exams. We have seen malpractice during exams. haven't we? That is an example that the current youth is not fit to go and seek for reparative justice. Because if I do my practice during the exam today, tomorrow I'm the future leader, I'm the future president, what will I do now? I will rig the elections, of course, isn't it? Now, let's go to the next part is, I'll take another example of someone say, my colleague said the music, the youth that are involved in music. It's good, and I also enjoy music, but what is the content of that music? Have you seen the videos? We have old people, we have people like Ismail Lowe, we have people like Alpha Blondy. They'll talk about the real issues of Africa. But when you go to you listen to the current music, what do we listen to? And now another colleague talked about environment. Let's just step outside of PAUSTI, outside of the campus, and see how the environment is. Noise pollution. And there's also littering everywhere. So those are the issues that we have to face before we seek restorative justice. And now some other colleagues said social media. In social media, people who talk about real issues of Africa, do you know how many followers they have? People, ladies or gents with big muscles and like my friend Emmanuel, or ladies who are wearing, I don't want to talk about it. Do you know how many followers they have? What does it say? What does it imply? And another colleague said about economy. We are getting aid from various parts of Africa. We have US aid, UK aid, JICA, everything. But what is really behind that aid? Aid is about controlling us. Because if I'm helping you and I send you my son to give him a job, will you say no? Because I've already helped you. And I'll give you also an example for reparative justice that happened. Recently, Uganda was forced to pay 335 million USD to DRC because they invaded DRC from 1998 to 2003. Uganda accepted to pay in 5 years, 65 million a year. They paid the first installment, the second installment, and then Uganda stopped. Why? Mismanagement, miscalculation, mismanagement of funds. So if we ask for the thanks. So in general now, what we need is to address the issues that we have at hand so that we can prepare, the current youth should prepare for the future generation, for them to be able to seek for the justice for what happened to Africa, to all Africans. So in my opinion, dear colleagues and friends and everyone here, and the speakers and the judges, we are not against reparative justice, but it's not the right time now. If we address all these points that I've stated, then the future generation will be able to address the reparative justice, and then we can get more. And when we get more, we'll be able to use it wisely. Thank you so much.
Please, can we give a hand of applause to all the debaters for the first round? That is not loud enough. I want to thank the fellow debaters. We've had interesting viewpoints regarding our team. Now we're going to give the judges the floor. They will take some time to prepare the final results for the first round. While that is happening, we would like to interact with our audience. We all know what the theme is, right? Now I want to hear from you all what your perspective is regarding the theme. Members of the audience, who wants to go first? While you're thinking, I want to remind us the theme is about our African youth catalyst of reparative justice. That is from aspiration to action.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emmanuel Benasmo. I'm from Liberia in West Africa. So I first want to thank the debaters for making those very good arguments. Whether you are for, whether you are against, the arguments were good. So, I want to start off by drafting us through the meaning of reparative justice and why do we need it. Okay. Reparation, in a short sense, means to make amends, to repair something that has been broken. Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation that abolished slavery in certain parts of the U.S. on the 1st of January 1863. So it was that time that Americans and our colonizers came to realize that they were doing bad to Africa. And on December 6, 1865, the whole of the U.S., because you know the U.S. is a federal state, so the Emancipation Proclamation that was signed on January 1st, 1863, took effect in selected states of the U.S. Then on December 6, 1865, the U.S. unanimously decided to abolish slavery. So when that happened, Liberia became the dumping ground for people who were free from the U.S., people who gained their freedom from the U.S. So that's how Liberia was founded. In 1822, the first settlers landed in Liberia. That's why you see we have a mixed culture. Because Liberia is a conglomeration of people from all across Africa, all the slaves from the Caribbean, wherever you are, wherever you were from the U.S., you were repatriated in Liberia. That is why we have a bit of a confused culture. And a lot of people refer to us as the Americans in Africa. Why do we need reparative justice? We need reparative justice because the slave trade ended centuries ago, but Africa is still grappling with the effect of the slave trade. Our systems are broken because of the slave trade, because of the exploration and exploitation of our resources to the U.S. and our former colonizers. So we're still feeling the impact of slave trade. These historical harms, we're still grappling with the effects of these historical harms. And one of the ways in which we can get out of the grasp of these historical harms is to set a benchmark of accountability so that we can move forward. And I'll give you two countries that apply that, and they're making headways. One of the debaters mentioned Japan. In 1945, Hiroshima and Nagasaki suffered the atomic bomb. When that happened, the U.S. rolled out what is known as the Marshall Plan. That plan was an economic plan meant to rebuild broken industries, meant to put Japan's economy in full swing. So Japan benefited from reparative justice. That is why they are where they are today. Then I'll come to the African setting, Rwanda. Rwanda is an African country, right? Rwanda suffered the genocide in 1994, right? When that happened, Rwanda also benefited from reparative justice. That is one of the reasons why Rwanda is in full swing. And if I must be very honest with you, reparative justice is very cardinal to the forward march of any region, any country that has suffered mayhem. One of the reasons why Liberia, we have 14 years of civil war from 1989 to 2003. One of the reasons why we're still struggling is because we didn't set the standard for reparative justice. We had an option to adopt reparative justice. But because the Liberian man is soft-hearted, what do? We chose a Truth and Reconciliation Commission where you just go there and there was a press conference. You go there and say, okay, yes, I agree, I did that, Liberians forgave you. So that lack of justice is one of the reasons why we're struggling today. So, do I believe that the African youth have a part to play in reparative justice? Yes, I agree. One of the debaters highlighted that of the continent's population, 60% is youth, so that means predominantly we are young people. If 60% of the young people do not participate in bringing reparative justice to Africa, that means we're still playing. Do I believe that the youth have been doing something? Yes, I believe they've been doing something. They've been influencing the process through their songs. Somebody mentioned songs. through social media platforms and the rest of it. Do I believe they can still do more? Yes, I believe they can still do more. How? You can make a solid case without adequate data. All of us are researchers to some extent here. So we must make a solid case for reparative justice. We must be able to research the gravity and the amount that is the slave trade, whatever it is, the extent to which they affect us, and we have very solid data, then we can make a very solid case. So I believe that African youth can do a lot. They are doing to some extent, but I still believe that they can do a lot. Thank you for the opportunity.
I'm Melissa David Bongenga. I'm from Burundi and I'm doing MSc in transportation. I just want to say that I support the motion that we are catalysts, sorry, yes. Because I will just emphasize we're using a pitch from what we are doing in civil transportation, or we are doing dam. For to do dam, we need some time to do a wall, to have like a quantity of water, and after having that quantity, we can make electricity. But to have that quantity of water, we need I'm not good in English. No, we need a liter of water to get 100,000 for water. Then young people are living now hopeless because they are saying they are like Cameroonese who have like 42 years, and we are just living life without any purpose in life, thinking that because that person have 42 years, we don't have anything to do. Nelson Mandela used to say that I'm the one who have to make change. If I don't make change in my life, if I don't make a change in my mindset, I'm very sure even I will get good justice and so on, it will not help me. If we are going, for example, in South Korea and so on, there are many people who are dying because they don't have life, they don't have suicide, they commit suicide. And those countries we are saying they are good, they have good education and so on, they are living without purpose some, because their mindsets are not fixed. We need to fix our mindset, because my life, even I get the most good president, is about me. It's about me to have a good purpose in life and to follow that. If I already set what I have to do, even I will not eat, I will find a way to eat. I don't know. If I don't eat today, I will eat tomorrow. I don't know. But if I think about others, if all my struggles, I think there are others who are doing, who are making, who are the one who make struggles, I will not be able to make a change. See how many they was emphasizing, say that many people, even those who are singing, they are sing nonsense. They have money, they have a possibility even to learn more, because they don't have a mindset to think that they can do more, they are not able to do. Then the problem of Africa, it's about me to solve it. It's not about others. Thank you.
I'm Samuel Mosoti. I'm a Kenyan master student. And for the short time that I've engaged and listened to you guys, this topic has been interesting to me. And I'm reminded of something that my teacher told me when I was in primary school. He said that the beautiful ones have not been born. And why am I bringing this quote up? If you go with that saying that the beautiful ones have not been born, it means you'll never get someone to marry, per se, right? Yes. So if you go with that right, at the end of the day, you'll never marry. And at the end of the day, you'll die. And biologically, you have done nothing, because biologically you're supposed to grow, mature, reproduce, then die. So what am I trying to bring up? If we say the youth, like the way the opposers are saying that we don't have a say right now, we should be thinking about other things, this thing will never happen. We will never achieve what we want to do. And we will never get an opportunity to participate in the reparative justice that we want to seek. Because I am a youth right now. In the next 10 or 15 years, I will not be a youth. So I will be telling my children, you wait. And the cycle will go on like that and like that. Why did the Pan-African Union per se decide to reduce the the age of those students who are coming to the Pan-African universities? Masters to 25 years, PhD to 28 or 30 years. Why? Because they understand, though they are old men and women, they understand that indeed the youth have a role to play in this society. All right? Going back, just to give an example of what has been happening in Kenya in the last 2 years, Kenyan youth are not really interested into administration, into politics, or into government, or into holding those government positions. No. We were asking a simple question. You were nominated the other day into the cabinet. 2 months after that, you're wearing a shoe worth 2 million. How did you get to that point? And if we didn't ask those questions, such opulence would still be displayed up to now. Are we seeing that? No, we are not seeing it. So at the end of the day, did the Kenyan youth contribute into stoppage of such kind of things? Yes. But have we achieved it 100%? No. Are we in the process? Yes. Should we stop? No. So at the end of the day, we all agree that the youth should start now, not tomorrow. We should start now. And we should not think about the problems that we've been facing since 1820. No. We should start with the problems that we are facing right now, and we track back. What are we able to address? If we cannot address injustices that were committed to us in 1920, all right, we live with that problem. But now we think of how to solve it going forward. Because at the end of the day, your children will ask you. They will not ask those guys who were there in 1900s. No, they will ask us. We are the current generation. So if the future, we are not going to make a better future for our generation to come, will be asked. These guys who we are blaming right now, they were at our age at some point, and they didn't do anything. And that's why we are asking those questions. If our kids and our grandkids are going to ask the same questions that we are asking today, we are not doing any justice to Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samuel. For my own opinion, I'm thinking that if, for example, you put a young person in the place of power now, the experience they have is that the leaders they are going to use them as role models. So it's difficult to say that taking a youth to participate in African politics will bring any change. Just like someone said during the presentation, we have to first of all build the minds of Africans. We have to bring that leadership building. It's very important. Just like there is football academy, there should be an academy for leadership building. We don't want leaders who have experience of dictatorship, because you can be from Uganda where the president has been there for 40 years, and you want to be the next president, and the people are telling you that no, you have to be there just for one time. You'll be asking them, when the other guy was there, why did you not tell him to leave? That is the mindset most youth they have. So I think for us to build reparation in Africa, we need to try as much as possible to eliminate the mindset the current Africans they have. You see, even a young person putting the person in politics, you see the way he manipulates us. And we were believing that he's a young person like us. He tries as much as possible to oppress us. We have seen that in many cases. We have seen that even in positions of power in academics and all those places. If we give youth the power now, they can kill us. So we have to build. So it's not like reparation is bad, but are we ready for sustainable development and reparation now? We need to build the mindset of Africans. We need to build that constructive mindset that will push Africa forward. Everybody wants to leave Africa. That is the mindset of almost all Africa. Is it because Africa is bad? Nobody wants to be oppressed, but if you are given an opportunity, you oppress others. That is the problem. I want to thank the debaters for that wonderful presentation.
We are going to be getting the results for both sides, that is for and against. We're going to pick 2 debaters from both sides to continue to the next round before we get the final results. So that's it, we are going to hand over the mics to the jury members.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once more. I stand here representing my team. I'm not representing myself. So whatever results that I'm going to give is the average of the team. I think with the rubric, I tried to explain it. I tried to explain it when we started our journey. And I would say as judges were very much well pleased that we were doing it against the learned brains, and they delivered exactly what we expected. Nevertheless, there has to be a winner, and there has to be a winning team. So like I said before, we were looking at a criteria with 8 measures: the knowledge of the topic, clarity of points, level of conviction, use of evidence, composure, confidence and voice control, use of vocabulary, and timeliness. I hope my voice, if I were one of them, I would have scored 5 there. Before I give the results for the team and the top 4, we are going to announce the top 4. And the top 4, fortunately, there are 2 from each side. The top 4 are the ones who are going to give the concluding statements for the 2 teams. And from this top 4, we are going to pick now from their concluding statements. It will be a fresh presentation altogether. We are going to pick now the best speaker from amongst them. And a few observations we have made that will guide us further as we continue with the top 4. Number 1, like I said, a lot of points were being forwarded, but in some instances, there was the clarity was lacking. The clarity was lacking, and I would say we needed to hear more scholarly debates. More scholarly debates. Of course, I would say examples were given or illustrations were given, very wonderful. But in some instances, you would wonder, if I don't know what is happening in Uganda now, and a speaker comes from this side and tells me here, how do I validate that? This is a scholarly argument. We are not saying every illustration was supposed to be supported by a source, but at least a single source would communicate better to say, okay, then that means. Following that will be the use of gestures. In some instances, they were a bit disturbing. And we want to point that as we move forward, let us be debaters. These are parliamentarians. This is a parliamentary style. So when you debate in parliament, you debate, of course you can look at your opponent, but you don't make us fear that there might be a physical attack in parliament buildings. Yeah? But they were not that intense. Eye contact, very good. Composure, very good. References to the sources that they were using to get their points, very good. And voice projections, I'm telling you, some did not even need a microphone. They could have just walked to this auditorium, which is typical of an African. Eh? That is me. I would not need that. I will just speak with my voice on. Now, to the most interesting part of the day. We did, as 4 of us, we each adjudicated individual debater. Then, after we all adjudicated all the debaters, I compute my totals and they computed their totals. And for every debater, we computed the average. The average is the one that will give us the score per a debater. And those are the ones that we use now, the averages, to pick the top 4. So the top 4 will be the top 4 averages. And then we also computed the averages now for the 2 teams. The averages for the 2 teams now were the averages of the individuals, then divided by 4. I think that is simple mathematics. Then those will give us the averages for the 2 teams. Our scores are as follows. For the team that was affirming the motion, we had speaker 1. I will not mention names, sir. I hope we know ourselves, sir, for fear of confusion. Speaker 1 scoring 30.25 out of 40. Speaker 2, 30.25. Speaker 3, 37.825. Speaker 4, 39.75. That gives us a total of 138.075 out of 160. Then, thank you very much. The team that was against the motion, Speaker 1, 32 out of 40. Speaker 2, 33.25. Speaker 3, 29. Speaker 4, 35.125. That giving us a total of 129.375 out of 160. And the judgment affirmed to us that the winning team was the team that was affirming the motion with 138.075 out of 160. Now we move on to the top 4. Our top 4 speakers in no particular order. From the team that was affirming the motion, Speaker 3 with 37.825. That's the number. Then Speaker 4 from the same team with 39.75. From the team that was against the motion, Speaker 2 with 33.25. And Speaker 4 with 35.125. Those are our top 4s. Having said that, it means The top 4 speakers will be getting themselves ready again to take on the podium for the 4 speakers, top 4, to take on the podium for the final round. As I get it back to my respectable director of ceremonies, I don't know what they have to caucus against them.
Put our hands together for our president of the jury. He's doing some wonderful work there. If you listen to the debate, you would know finding the winning team was a very difficult challenge. Everyone brought their best foot forward, they brought in the points, and good job to the judges.
To make a correction here, I've just been reminded that there was a typing error here. For the team that was against the motion, you will pardon the judges for that. It was a typo. The speaker with speaker 1 with 32 points goes into top 4, and speaker 2 is 23.25, not 33. So she will come down.
Thank you very much for that clarification. So for the team against the motion, speaker 1 and speaker 4 will be going for the next round.
As the judges panel, we have amended the scoring for this final round. You'll be very much aware that on the first round, all the 8 variables carried the same weight. For this final round, we have amended to give knowledge of the topic 15 points. Clarity of points, 10 points. Level of conviction, 10 points. And evidence, now that we have told you, 10 points. Then composure, 5 points. Confidence and voice control, 5 points. Use of vocabulary and language, 5 points. And timeliness, 5 points. The variables that changed are the top 4, which mostly speaks to the content. We want to hear more of the content. I want to believe that is what the spectators are expecting now that these are the finals of the finals. So I think nothing more will change. Or the time, because now is the final of the finals, you have 1 chance each, 10 minutes each. 1 chance each, 10 minutes each. We can't vary the times now because you are all battling against one another. There is no team member who come and support and rebut. Thank you very much.
You're welcome once more to our debate session. And just to remind everyone, this is the Pan-African Youth Day celebration. And on this occasion, we're given the opportunity to debate on a topic that is relevant to the African youth. So this year, our theme is youth. Are youth agents of reparative justice? That is, from aspirations to action. And we are going to call on the first speaker, Mr. Fuembe. The podium is yours.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. As you all know, I'm Enoano Fuembe. I'm standing for youth as drivers of social and political transformation, not merely dreamers, but doers. And also stand for the fact that we deserve economic reparation. I would like to salute the member of the juries for giving me this opportunity. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Africa has over 60% of its population to be youth, with a total population 2025 to be almost 1.6 billion. That is majority of the youth. I am a youth also. We try for change. And what have we done? When it comes to economic and political events, there was a movement in Nigeria called NSAS. Mobilization online, where it received over 28 million tweets at its peak. This movement helped to demolish the pre-colonial policing system whereby youth were marginalized and treated wrongly. A lot of people died, but it was possible thanks to the power of social media. As we all know, social media is a double-edged sword. It depends on who is using it. And this is one of the positive ways by which the youth of Africa has harnessed the power of social media to make their voice heard and hereby help stop oppression. Even though it's not total, but at least we are going somewhere. Economic reparation. Africa has over 600 active FEN startup techs, and out of that 600 plus, not up to 5% have been able to receive seed funding. You can just see the drive, like the youth have the drive, the ambition to go towards progress, but they don't have the funding just because they are black. This systematic racism to which we are enforcing our leaders by not valuing us. Despite that, we have almost 600 plus startups as of 2025, which has contributed greatly, as I mentioned earlier. We have digital currency, and we have another African development startup whereby they give quantitative data to all these big tech corporations, which is based in Kenya. So we are doing something and we're working towards that. We are not mere dreamers, but we are doers. Youth-driven tech startup in Africa is projected to increase by 5.6 in 2026. That is a huge leap in a single year. So African youths are not just sitting down to fold their hands and wait on God, but we're actually doing something. Climate reparation. There is this climate injustice that we all know is not right. We all know about the Industrial Revolution, which started in England. They burned a lot of carbon dioxide. The emission was too much, which boosts the economic of the West, but at what cost? Us Africa, we had to pay the price. 7 out of 10 endangered countries which have the risk of drought are in Africa. Kenya is among. It would be unjust to say there should not be economic reparation or climate reparation on these regards, whereby they use the Industrial Revolution to develop at our own detriment. We can't forgive that. We need justice. Pan-Africanism. Almost 70% of Africans identify as Pan-Africanism. As of AU survey 2026, 70% of Africa identify as Pan-Africanism. Unlike those old generation. What does that mean? Therefore, we are all comfortable to sit in one room and share whatever is there to be shared without any discrimination that no, I am Rwandan and Cameroonian. And Kenya has proven by putting an open border policy whereby almost all of African countries can come in Kenya visa-free. This is a move towards regional integration. It shows that Africa are not just dreamers, but they are doers. We are moving towards collective growth. We have several blocks. ECOWAS, the Community of East African Association or East African Country, whereby they try to put cross-border trade. You can trade among the region and develop together. This move has helped Africa integrate in a way that was never seen before. And Africa has one voice in the UN, which gives them veto power to make decisions that will be for Africans and by Africans. So it is unjust to claim that we will not need economic reparation, whereby we have faced a lot of damages. Look at the era of slavery. They say don't go to old home, don't hurt old home. No, we have to look at it. Apart from natural resources, we also have human capital. We're exploited. Our best was collected out of the continent. Brain draining for how many 100 years we built on that continent. And yet we are treated as subhumans. We were treated as if we are not meant to be or to think on our own. Various types of viruses have been created just to destroy us. And you say, let's forgive them and forget about the past? No, we can't. Look at the case of Botswana. King Leopold mutilated almost 15 million Botswana. Cutted that hand. 2 million, thank you. But this will tell us to forgive that grave sin. Almost 2 million talented people, 2 million human capital. An effort that will help to boost the economy was killed by an empire, by the greed of the Westerners. We can't forgive such. Reparation is a must. The question is not is it or is it not a must, it's like when. And we are in the process, and we are moving towards that. So my stand is, Africa are not just dreamers, but doers. And with all indications, we are working towards that. And it is not how fast we move, but how far we go. And we can all bear in mind that we are moving towards that. Such as this institution, Pan-African Union, which was initiated by the head of state to produce knowledge from all across Africa for Africa. Thank you.
I'll start by summarizing what other side had said, that the role of African youth is to speed up the reparative justice and to repair what is broken. My strongest belief is that we can't repair a complicated system, and I'll prove to you beyond reasonable doubt that the current state of Africa is complicated when it comes to the issue of reparations and reparative justice, such that any attempt is just nothing but time wasting. So my Prime Minister, he spoke about economic reparations, that it's a must. And thank you for that point, because what we're talking about, reparative justice, we're only talking about money. There's a person who said from their side that it's not only about money, but we need money to make those things which don't need money make sense. This debate is about the money. Who has the money? Whose money? What money? And I'm going to prove to you that this reparative economic situation is a complicated chemical reaction. And the biggest question in the room, whose money and what money? So the next speaker from the opposition side, if they would attach a dollar figure to how much damage has been done by the injustice done by the Europeans, then we'll start talking. So I'm going to also give an example of how the European Union has also been funding. It's the biggest funder of the African Union. The European Union right now is the biggest funder of the African Union. Then you go and say, we need more money. When you're already getting some money, but you're just failing to fix the issues in your own country, failing to fix the issues in your own continent. Right now there's a Rhodes Scholarship. Sister John Rhodes, he colonized my country. Brutal man. But he set up a scholarship fund that is still helping the people in Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, all the people in Southern Africa can get access to that money to further education and to uplift an African life. Then you say, we still need more money. So this is just a classical case of people who are irresponsible and hiding beneath the victim mentality. Because already, though as complicated as it seems that Sister John Rose used this colonization capital to fund this scholarship, but still, it's still money being used. It's still money being paid indirectly as reparations. The money by European Union is still indirect reparations. So all this case is about money, money, money. But whose money now we're talking about? At the recent G20 summit in South Africa, the key issue was on debts, African debts. The biggest debtors, Zambia, Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya, and my own Zimbabwe. They are the biggest countries who owe the Paris Club. And the Paris Club are the biggest perpetrators of this reparative injustice. So now, without an economic figure, without a value that you can attach on this reparation, you can't claim it. Because common sense says, if they owe us money for the damages, you could go and say, look, this debt, we owe you billions, we owe you trillions. Let's just say, cancel each other out. But why is this not happening? Because this is complicated. This issue has gone on for too long in the history alley. And in legal terms, there's a term called statutory limitation, though it applies to common legal issues, that if there is a time lapse, then we can disclaim your legal actions, or we can disclaim your legal claims. In this case, the reparative agenda, it's a gross crime, but in theory, we can't say to forget that claim, but the practicality of it is there is not going to be any compensation, because this thing is now in the statutory limitation legal basis for us to reject that claim. That is why, with your common sense, with the common sense of our leaders, they can't take the economic damage that was done by this slave trade, colonization and everything. You can't equate it. There's no dollar figure value that you can attach for you to go to the person who committed that crime and say, give me some money. After all, they're giving us some money in any ways. So this conversation, this debate is not about feelings. It's about the practicality of things. African youth should wake up from this dreaming mentality of dreaming about handouts and someone who's going to miraculously give you money for a crime that happened. Yes, the crime, it was bad, it was horrible, but it's time to take responsibility as African youth. It's time to take responsibility and catalyze our efforts to matters that are achievable, that are measurable, with results in mind. Because if we continue with this reparative agenda, we will hit a brick wall in the economic sense that there is no dollar figure that you can attach to what really happened. If that figure existed, then our leaders would go and say, forget our debt, then we forget the crimes that you did. But the practicality of it, that's not happening, because there is no quantification of that damage that happened. And the time that has lapsed, it's over 500 years ago, and you're still talking about the same issue. So this debate is a time and a chance for African youth to wake up and focus on real matters. And forgiveness is not a forced matter. You can't force the perpetrator to forgive. You can't force the perpetrator to say, I did wrong. You can't force someone to apologize. Forgiveness is a gift that you give yourself. And forgiveness is a gift that we Africans should give ourselves and move on. I thank you.
Thank you, co-debater. Thank you, audience, for your time. My name, once again, is Asari Michael from Ghana. I'm here to summarize my affirmation on the motion, African Youth as a True Catalyst of Reparative Justice for Sustainable Development. Reparative justice, my brother said, is about money, But I'm here to clarify, it's not just about money, it's about freedom, liberation, and then reparation of broken walls. Over the years, Africa has experienced various kinds of revolution, and it has been championed not by any other category of the African populace than the youth. Talking about what happened in Nigeria, the popular EndSARS situation. It was a canker bothering the people of Nigeria. And the youth voiced out through the social media, which made their voice to be heard. Due to that, the government was forced to end the police unit of SARS. And so, that action alone having impact on the decision of the government has to tell us one thing, that the youth's voices is massive and is very strong and powerful. According to the UN DISA report, it states clearly that African population, Africa is the youngest continent, with over approximately 60% being youthful. So my question now is, if we have this number backing us, don't you think our demands must meet the future directions? Of course, yes. And that is the reason why the government of Nigeria passed a bill in 2018, 31st March 2018. There was a bill that says not too young to lead. Not too young to lead. It was passed by President Buhari during his era. And the motive of this bill was to reduce the qualification age for presidential aspirants. Looking at what is happening in Cameroon, President over 90 years age, ruling for several years, not giving the opportunity for the youth to also exhibit their potential. So, Nigeria setting the pace, I believe some African countries will also learn from what Nigeria did. Even in Kenya, there has been a constitutional review in 2010, reducing the age qualification for presidential aspirant to 18 years of age. If you are sound and you have all these credentials, you are capable. And so these are all efforts of the youth trying to repair the broken walls of Africa. In the sector of climate and environment, as my co-debater made us understand earlier, that Africa contributes less in terms of climate change, but then we feel the impact more. Through youth-led campaigns, these issues of climate change losses are now being reclaimed. In terms of cultural identity, just recently, last year, the Ashanti Kingdom in Ghana, led by His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei, reclaimed all stolen artifacts from the United Kingdom, the then colonial masters of Ghana. And it was through the advocacies from the youth, the Ashanti youth. These are all efforts demonstrating the power and authority the youth carry. They may not be more in parliament, but in the little that they have, they are utilizing it. I'm here to affirm that this mission is not something that is about to start. It has already been established. It is in motion. Though we are not up to the limit, but with these structural measures put in place, I believe strongly that we will get there. Lastly, I want to talk about, in terms of economic aspects. According to Patek report, it states that Africa is the fastest growing startup ecosystem. Patek Africa report states clearly that Africa is the fastest growing startup ecosystem, which means that the youth are trying to create alternative pathways to build strong economic background, eradicating all forms of economic independence, something that was stolen way back right from colonial and colonial era. They are utilizing their technological skills, their creativity and innovations to build strong financial stability in order not to depend solely on the elderly who have failed us over the years. Because if they did things right, we will not be here fighting for change. We will not be here fighting for change. So, without wasting my time, I strongly affirm my support to the motion that African youth are truly catalysts for reparative justice. And I urge you all to support. Thank you.
Hello again. My name is Cedric Manafasha. I'm from Rwanda. I would like to thank my colleagues who have passed before me here. I would like to clarify one point, and maybe the audience also can agree with that. There's a difference between well-being and reparative justice. If I go to work from Monday to Friday, it is my duty to go and work so that I can feed my family. I'm not doing that because I'm seeking for reparative justice. So, my colleagues, what the youth or what the Africans are doing now, they are doing it for the well-being of Africa. But we should not confuse it with the process of asking for reparative justice. I hope I'm clear on that point. Okay. So, the second point, I want to talk about preparation. Let's just talk in general. What is preparation? When I'm going to prepare something, when we can ask the organizers of this event how they prepared it. How do you prepare something? How do you prepare for the World Cup? Where does it start from and where does it end? We can't just wake up one day and say, we'll have a debate today. Where are the judges? Where are the members of the panel? Where will be the sound system? Everything, right? So preparation is very important. So if we are going to do something without preparing, we are playing our card wrong. So for World Cup, even for the elections, we have campaigns. We have to select a person who represented a particular political party to go and campaign. So why am I saying this? We need to prepare. We need to prepare for the reparative justice. Now is the time to start preparing for it. Because when we prepare something, we realize where is the budget? Who is going to do it? At what time? When shall we do it? We need to set an agenda. We have African Union has so many agendas. The Agenda 2063. We need to set an agenda, maybe Agenda 2050 for the preparation. All these things. So we need to prepare. And by preparing, we need to start with the next generation. The generation to come. We need to start preparing them when they are born. From the day they are born, we start preparing them. And now we need also to set the structure. We have so many countries. Who will get what? Who will get what? Who will benefit more? Who will benefit less? All these things should be very well established, very well structured before we approach the colonizers. And now in the youth, we are sometimes the youth were innocent. There are some maybe external factors. I can give an example. Aliko Dangote in Nigeria started his own oil refinery. It was by Africans for Africans, but he struggled getting the papers, the paperwork. The government refused to give him paperwork, to give him all the papers required to start. Well, you can imagine why. So if there is there's maybe some external people controlling the situation that we're facing, but when we are prepared, we can counter that part. And I can take some few examples so that we can understand the difference between doing what you are supposed to do and preparing for the reparatory justice. For example, if you're coming here, if you get a scholarship here and come to study here, if some people have traveled from parts of the world, from parts of Africa, from Botswana, from Liberia, from everywhere, and come to study in Kenya, is it preparing for our own well-being, or is it preparing for the reparative justice? Don't ask me, just answer yourselves. So, if you want to prepare, if you want to go for reparative justice, we have first to be well, and then start preparing for what's coming next. Like people who have watched the movie Game of Thrones, winter is coming. We should be ready to prepare for the winter. Prepare for the winter, it requires all of us to be together so that we can fight one single enemy that we have. My colleague said that talk about social media. Social media is a very good tool, but if used better, it can produce better results. But among the youth that we have in Africa who use social media for good, we can count the percentage. It's very, very, very less. Most of the youth use it for their own entertainment. And another member mentioned about Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is something, it is easier said than done. If you ask everyone here in this world, who is a true Pan-Africanist, all of us will raise our hands, right? But when it comes to implementation, to implement what it takes to become a true Pan-Africanist, only one or two people remain in this world. So it is easier said than done. So if they conduct a survey, of course, no one can say that I'm not a Pan-Africanist. They just say it, but to implement it is more complicated. And next part is, if today we could, a certain country from the West could come here and ask, like people who want scholarship to go in Europe and stay there on one condition, don't ever come back to Africa. Let's just think about it. Would you go or would you stay? You go with your family, take your family, your daughters and sons, go with them, but don't ever come back. So, heading to the conclusion is that another colleague said it is true that we are exploited. Yes, it's true that we are exploited, but if we don't prepare for this reparative justice, it is the only card left that we have to use against our colonizers. If we don't play it well, we'll be exploited further and in the worst way. Recently, the US Congress decided that they have declared that they have committed slavery and asked for the apology. They asked for the apology, but no reparative justice, nothing. They just said it in words. So for us, we have to make sure that they don't say it in words, but they have to do something actually to be done. And finally, why can't we even just forgive them and continue their lives? If we know some people talk about trauma, well, if I carry a trauma, they say that if you forgive that person, you will feel better, you will walk better, your life will be better. Why can't we just think, I just wanted to clarify this, why can't we just forgive them and move on with our lives? Thank you.
Thank you very much, debaters, for that wonderful last round. We are going to give the judges time to do their final evaluation to tell us who is the best speaker of the day.
We are going to hand the podium to our judges to tell us what the truth of this debate is.
Thank you very much.
Director of Ceremonies, I come again with good news this time around, and which will mark the end of the first session, that is the debate. And let me start by appreciating the contributions that was made by the people on the floor. Of course, they enlightened us in some instances, but like one of the speakers said, or like I alluded to before, we validate our facts by sources. Done. And now to the results of the four gentlemen. Unfortunately, there was gender imbalance. But it's the natural selection. For the four gentlemen, we did as we promised. We computed the scores and gotten the averages for the four, and we divided amongst ourselves, and we gotten the average per each. This time around, there was no teamwork. It was individual against individual. And because there are four, I'm going to announce number 3, number 2, and number 1. Then you know the number 4. According to the scores that I have here, our number 3 is for the team that was against the motion with 53.75 points out of 65. 53.75 points out of 65, and that is Cedric. Our number 2 from the team that was affirming the motion with 56.75 points out of 65. Number 2 with 56.75 points out of 65 is from the team that was affirming, that is Eno. And ladies and gentlemen, our best speaker, our speaker for the day, our champion, is from the team, with 62.5 points out of 65. I hope you can hear that the competition this time around was very, very tough. Every one of them is a winner. With 62.5 out of 65 points, it's one of these gentlemen around here. I know you can make an intelligent guess. With 62.5 out of 65 points, the best speaker for the day was Michael. And may I, on behalf of the judges, congratulate you, Michael, for being the best speaker for today. And congratulate the top 4, the guys who made it to the top 4 out of a total of 8. That was a splendid performance, guys. We had to have one winner. And then the other 4 who are not here now, who fell off the ship on the first round, they make this day what it is. If they were not there, we would not be here. Otherwise, these 4 would not have made it to the top 4. So we congratulate all of them. And to the people on the floor,
the crowd, the beloved spectators, once more we say, thank you for making it. Otherwise, they would not have debated alone without your audience. Let's keep supporting them, and let's keep hoping for some more refined information as we come back next year. Yes, as we come back next year with another topic for the year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chief George, for that wonderful result.